It is one of the most high-profile murder trials in Grand Rapids over the past few years. Javonte Higgins, found guilty of killing David and Vivian Bauman, an elderly Kentwood couple, found gunned down in their home last winter. Tonight, just days after the verdict, a juror who found Higgins guilty is talking only with 24-hour News 8's Leon Hendricks.
Rick, good evening. That juror says this was a long process for them, a difficult decision to make. While many had long been convinced that Javonte Higgins was guilty of killing David and Vivian Bauman, for the jurors that made that final decision, it wasn't so simple. The juror we spoke with, we distorted her voice to protect her identity. It was a painstaking 3 days of testimony that featured admissions from friends, testimony of unusual behavior, and graphic images of the victims. But inside that jury room, much of the focus was on what was not there. No DNA evidence proving Higgins was in that house.
You have this person, there's no DNA. No DNA. It keeps popping up, and it's like, okay, if this is our suspect that you guys are trying to put in prison, why is there no evidence of him being in that house?
Hours into deliberation, jurors came back with a question. Could they convict Higgins, even if they weren't sure that he pulled the trigger and killed David and Vivian Bauman? Once they realized he could be convicted, even if he was just an accomplice to the crime, they were convinced beyond a reasonable doubt.
Either way, if there was or wasn't another person, he's going to be convicted.
It was an experience that even those who were on the jury struggle with, a tragic case, and vulnerable victims who were in their 80s, likely asleep before Javonte Higgins broke in and ended their lives.
It hurts. I mean, knowing that someone could do such an act like that and giving someone's family the joy of seeing someone being put away, but then again, seeing someone getting taken away from their family. I mean, it was bittersweet.
While many scoff at the idea of jury duty, this juror says it was an experience she will never forget and encourages others to take that call seriously if you get that summons in the mail.
It's just a big decision that I never thought I'd have to make on anyone, but I just looked at it as if it was somebody in my family too. I would want justice.
And although the juror says she noticed there was no apparent remorse from Javonte Higgins during trial, she says one thing she wasn't convinced of was the notion that Javonte Higgins was an evil person. She says she thinks he's someone that needed help, and of course is among those wishing he would have gotten that before killing David and Vivian Bauman. He'll be sentenced to the rest of his life in prison in the coming weeks. Reporting live in Kent County, Leon Hendricks, 24-hour News 8.